First, there was Carol.
He liked to brag that he'd have to lie to his girlfriend to go home and see his wife.
Then, there was Kyle.
I was 20 years old. He was a cop. He took me to bars.
After Kyle came Vicky.
I love you too. Here comes her white knight in shining armor.
Then Drew swept up Kathleen.
She was a lot of fun. Very beautiful woman.
And finally, Stacy.
Drew went after Stacy as a trophy almost. She's 30 years younger than him. Look what I got. I have this teenage girlfriend.
Now, one of these women is missing. Another is dead. And Drew Peterson stands accused.
Based on the media coverage.
In late February of 2004, Drew Peterson's kids from a previous marriage were at his house for a weekend visitation.
After the weekend was over, Sunday night, Drew tried to return his sons to Kathleen, but no one answered the door. So he brought them back home. He spent all day Monday, he says, trying to find out where she is, locate her so he can bring his sons back. She doesn't answer the phone.
He doesn't use his radio and say, I need some backup, something's wrong. My former wife isn't answering the door or the telephone. Goes to a neighbor and says, come with me. We need to go to my former wife's house.
A locksmith arrives and unlocks the front door. Drew is reluctant to go inside, he says, because of, the acrimonious divorce procedure where Kathleen's called the police on him numerous times.
He had his neighbor there, and he sent everybody, allegedly, okay, you go upstairs, you go over here, you go over here.
So the neighbors go in, and they can't find Kathleen. They go upstairs, and then they do find her.
There's no water in the tub. She's slumped over. She's got a gash on the back of the head. There's blood that just kind of lines the tub.
She predicted her own death.
Drew's ex-wife, Kathy, had written a letter to authorities.
Not only did she detail Drew breaking into her house and menacing her with a knife, threatening her, she said Drew knows how to manipulate the system. His next step is to take away my children or to kill me instead.
I felt her pulse, and being a policeman, I basically didn't want to touch anything or disturb anything.
If there was a crime scene that he may or may not have been a part of, he contaminates it quickly by grabbing the body and checking for vital signs. Then the Bolingbrook police are called. They realize that this is the estranged wife of one of their own, so they call in the state police.
State police investigated the scene, but found little evidence.
The next day, they interviewed Drew Peterson at his own police station, in the snack room of his own police station, instead of bringing him into the state police headquarters for questioning as they would a regular person, civilian.
Detectives also wanted to speak to Drew's current wife, Stacy.
Drew insisted on being present for her interview because she's a young girl, and I believe she was pregnant at the time. So his alibi was sitting next to him when she was questioned. This was just a shocking example of ineptitude by the Illinois State Police.
Kathy's family suspected Drew.
Testimony was given by her sister Susan, also her sister Anna. They shared chilling details of the threats Drew Peterson supposedly made to Kathleen, how she was in fear for her life. It was shocking.
State police investigators testified they found no physical evidence indicating foul play.
The jury adjourned and deliberated and came back with a finding of accidental death. The family was dumbfounded. I was there. I was pretty shocked. This woman died accidentally. Case closed.
It didn't take long before Drew started having problems with his current wife, Stacy.
I think she looked around and saw other young people, other people her age who are in college or out having fun, and she's stuck in Bolingbrook with a house full of kids and a husband who wants her to cook and clean for him. You've got one wife accidentally drowning in her bathtub, and then you got the next wife running off to the Caribbean with an unknown man with no activity on her credit cards or cell phone ever again.
The media exploded right away when Stacy went missing.
November of 2007, Drew Peterson was at the center of controversy.
To have one wife die, that might happen. To have now another one disappear under those circumstances and be so devoted to the kids. People will ask, why would any mother, run away or hurt their kids in any way? That immediately blew up on Drew.
While a search was on for his fourth wife, investigators reopened the case of his third wife's death.
Within weeks of Stacy disappearing, and under intense media pressure and scrutiny, the prosecutor's office and the state police announced that they would be exhuming the grave of Kathleen Savio. They'd be digging up her coffin, testing the remains again.
An autopsy was done by Dr. Michael Baden, who decided that Mr. Peterson's third wife died from injuries sustained in a struggle and possibly from drowning. In Dr. Baden's opinion, it was not accidental.
They had to go back and look at this case that they bungled in 2004. I'm not saying Drew Peterson killed Kathleen Savio, but it's pretty clear that somebody very likely may have.
In early 2008, the case of Kathleen's death was officially reopened.